Ahead and get started here. We are live. Beautiful. Well, hello everyone. My name is Chris Zach. I'm the guy with two first names. It's great to have you here today on the internet. We were going to dive into one of my favorite subjects. This is part two of two classes that I teach every month in the Real Academy. So today we're going to be getting into Facebook ads 201. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our first training. We go over Facebook ads 101. Today's a little more advanced. So I would only recommend you attend today's training if you've already attended Facebook ads 101 or you are already familiar with how Facebook ads works and functions. You're running ads, you're already spending money. So this is kind of a continuation class, if you will. A little bit about me. So I've been on this side of the wall almost 20 years. Real estate marketing, that's my bread and butter. So I own and operate a company out here in San Diego, California called Chris Zach Interact. And we do two things really well with agents. So we do a lot of online lead generation, Facebook, Instagram, Google, and YouTube ads. And then the other really big part of our business is we help agents integrate technology. So if you're listening to this, you probably have Lofty or some CRM. And some of you might be listening to this and you're like, Chris, none of those are talking. I need help. I know a guy. So I'm not a realtor, but I have been teaching in the Real Academy for, oh, wow, I think we're going on maybe 7 years at this point. So I started out, teaching in the Real Academy that when there was only like 1,000 agents with Real. So a lot of fun to grow with you guys. This is going to be recorded as well. So for anyone who does want the recording, please send over a chat or you can email me at chris@chriszacinteract.com and I'll send you the recordings as well. Diving right in though. So, a couple topics that we are going to cover today. Biggest one, we're going to talk about retargeting. Retargeting. One of my favorite subjects to talk about. You guys are familiar with retargeting, whether you know it or not. So, we'll get into retargeting. We'll define what retargeting is, and we will have a lot of fun. We're going to talk about custom audiences. So, if you've ever run ads, on Facebook, you can choose a specific audience. We're going to talk about custom audiences and really what does that mean as far as custom audiences. We're going to go over some different best practices. I'm going to get you guys set up on tracking people when they visit your website. And then the last thing we're going to talk about, everyone's favorite topic, money. So what do you actually need to spend on retargeting? Where do you recommend you start? And so we'll really dive into all of that. With that being said, any questions, comments, concerns, or anything before we do get into it? All righty, I've got everyone muted. So if you do have questions, please send it over in chat, and I will try and answer those questions as they come through. So let's start out with what is retargeting. So as I mentioned, everyone is familiar with retargeting, whether you know it or not. So putting it into layman's terms, retargeting is simply when you go to a website. So let's say you go to Amazon.com right now and you shop for that black pair of Nikes, and then all of a sudden those shoes start following you on the internet. In its most basic form, that's what retargeting is. You'll notice almost any website you go to today, that you're going to see this little pop-up on your screen. So this site uses website cookies to enhance your browsing experience, blah, blah, blah. You guys are all familiar with that warning. What that means in layman's terms is, hey, if you click OK, we are going to market to you. We're going to show you ads. So if you click on a pair of leggings, guess what? Those leggings are going to follow you around the internet until you buy them. So retargeting is really, really effective, though. You can be annoying with retargeting. I'm sure we've all seen that company that like you just seen the same ad over and over and over. But it also can be really effective. So we're going to set that up for you guys, and we're going to talk some best practices on the real estate side. So a couple things first. I'm a big fan of retargeting because it helps with visitor interactions. I gave you that analogy as far as, you visit Foot Locker or you go to Amazon.com. It's going to continue to try and interact with you. So if you go to Foot Locker and you look at Nikes, guess what? They're going to keep showing you Nikes. So Think about it the same way that you used to in a store. You walk into a department store, they keep bringing you out Nikes. Same thing that you want to be doing on the internet. Retargeting can also track people, right? So as I showed you that little pop-up message about cookies, this allows you to basically, someone walks into your store, tracking is kind of like a door chime goes off. Ding. Hey, when Chris is on your website, we're going to monitor what he's looking at. What is he doing? Is he looking at $300,000 houses? Is he looking at $1.2 million homes? Is he a buyer? Is he a seller? So retargeting really helps with all of that. And then we can show those people specific ads, which encourages conversions. What does that mean? E-commerce learned that if they show you that same t-shirt, that same pair of shoes 8 times, eventually you're going to purchase. So obviously, real estate is not as much of an impulse buy as a pair of tennis shoes, but it does encourage conversions. Zillow does this, Realtor.com does this, Homes.com does this. All the big companies are doing this exact same approach. And hopefully, a lot of top teams you see on the internet in your market are also doing it. So I'm going to give you guys my barbecue recipe. Retargeting can help either staying top of mind. So for those agents who have been in the game for a long time, like I have, you remember grocery cart ads, you remember billboards, bench ads, a poster at your kid's, school or a little league game, you're getting a banner. Top of mind marketing. Think of retargeting as a digital form of advertising. So instead of them driving down the freeway, they're driving down Facebook. They're looking at Facebook, they're looking at Instagram, they're going on Google, and that's where you can kind of stay top of mind with them. As I mentioned, the other big thing that it really does is it pushes people further down your funnel. So imagine if you came to my website today and you registered for one of my listings in La Jolla, for example. Tomorrow when you jump on Facebook, I'm going to show you, hey, click here to view all open houses in La Jolla. Next week, hey, click here to search all homes for sale in La Jolla with an ocean view. The next week, click here to search all homes in La Jolla with a pool. I'm just going to keep kind of an IV drip where I'm going to constantly stay in front of you until I find something that you want to click on. So it's a really good way to push people further down your funnel, the same way that e-commerce does when they keep showing you that same pair of tennis shoes. You want to get people back to your website where they're shopping, they're looking at homes on a regular basis. So all of that is done because of a little technology word called a pixel. So I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with what a pixel is, but I want you to view a pixel the same way that you do a door chime at Foot Locker. You walk into Foot Locker, ding, Chris just walked through my store. That's what a pixel is. A pixel is simply someone walking into your store and you're identifying, okay, Chris is in my store, he's doing some shopping. So, from a technical standpoint, I'm going to sound like a nerd for a second. So, let me push up the roof of my glasses here. It's simply just a snippet of code that you put on your website. So, I need to install this on my website once. So that way, once my door chime is installed, anyone who comes to my website, I know who they are, and I want to show ads to those specific people. All right. I'm going to pause there. I know I've been a nerd for a couple minutes, but hopefully my analogies have helped. Any questions, comments, concerns? All right, next up, how do you create a pixel? So how do we install this door chime on your website? Okay, so as I mentioned on the first call, we went over all of the details of how to set up your Facebook account. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go once again back to business.facebook.com. And when you're there, you should look for what they call as the hamburger. So these three little lines, you're going to look for business settings. And then you're going to look for something called Events Manager. This is where you find what type of a doorbell you can install on your website. So we're going to click Events Manager. And as soon as I do, I'm going to see this big green button right here in the upper left corner. And I can connect a new data source. All right. So when I connect a new data source, what's really, really powerful is I can tell it, hey, I want to install a door chime on my website. So we're going to select website. We need to name that. So what's the name of your doorbell? Let's just call it Chris Ack Interact, or you could call it, Jim Smith's real estate website. You need to name that what they call as a data set. All right. On the next screen, you need to type in your website. So name of our company is chriszackinteract.com. You'll notice for me, when I type in my website, I get this little green checkbox. Green means good, right? Green means go. You should see a little red right here if you're doing this correctly. Okay. And what that means is you have not installed this yet on your website. Okay. So it's going to ask you to type in your domain name. It's going to check your website and say, hey, you know what, Chris? You don't have this installed on your website yet. Let's install a door chime. Okay. So now, once I select that, I just need to simply copy and paste that code and I need to put it into my website. Um, Now, I know most of you listening to this are probably with Real and you're probably using Lofty as well. Is there anyone who has another website not with Lofty? If so, let me know in chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to assume everyone's got Lofty here. All right, so everyone's got Lofty, it looks like. So I just sent over in chat step-by-step instructions of how to do it in Lofty. Basically, you'll log into your Lofty account, click website, you'll click settings, and then you'll see integrations on the left. That's where you would copy and paste what you're seeing on your screen. So just for training purposes, guys, I walk you through this pretty quickly on purpose. As I mentioned earlier, if we can help you do this, or you'd rather just pay us, Chris, can you handle all of this for it? We can easily set all this stuff up for you. All right, so let's assume door chime is installed. So you've copy and pasted, you've added it into your Lofty website or your WordPress website, whatever website you're using. Now, what do you need to do? What do you need to set up? So, first thing is, I'd recommend you create a custom audience. Okay, so I want you to create a custom audience. So, let's talk about custom audiences for a second. Actually, before we move on, this next subject can confuse a lot of agents because they're thinking, oh, how many audiences do I have? You probably have hundreds of audiences. So I always like to use the analogy of farming. If you're farming right now in your real estate business, hopefully you're focusing on one or two or maybe three, four zip codes. So think of a custom audience as it's a certain farming list that you're going after. So I'm in San Diego, 92129 is my zip code. All right, that's one custom audience. Now, maybe down the street, there's another zip code, 92128, for example. Now I have two custom audiences. So when you think of audiences, there's a bunch of custom audiences that you have in your real estate business. So you've got your sphere of influence, right? You've got buyer leads, you've got seller leads, you've got past clients, you've got vendors, you've got insurance agents, right? You've got all of these people that you work with. Think of those as different custom audiences. So you can have as many custom audiences as you want. I'm going to define those and I'm going to give you a couple that I recommend you use. But hopefully that makes sense. Does anyone have any questions at all? I know I'm kind of talking in generalities here, but does anyone have any questions so far? All right. So we're going to create a custom audience now. So we're going to go back to business.facebook.com. All right. Once we're on business.facebook.com, what I want you guys to do is navigate to audiences. All right. So you're going to go and you're going to find audiences. Once again, you should see when you click on the business settings, if you click that hamburger, you should see audiences pop up. And now we are going to create a custom audience. Hey, Christina, good to see you. Thanks for signing on here. I've got the training recorded as well. So if you want me to send you the replay for the first few minutes, send your email again over in chat and I'll send you the replay as soon as we're done here. All right, so we're going to create a custom audience. So we're going to hit this blue button for create an audience and we're going to select custom audience there. First one I want you guys to set up is a custom audience for your website. Now, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, you can have a ton of different custom audiences. Maybe you've got a list of your past clients, you've got website, you've got your Facebook page. So there's all these different custom audiences. I just want you to focus on website right now. All right. Now, does anyone want to send their real estate website over in chat? I'll use you as kind of my guinea pig and as an example. That way you can kind of understand how to set these up for yourself. Anyone want to share their website? If not, I've got a kind of a generic website I always use in this. All right, so we're going to do website. And so I'm going to select website here. And then it's going to ask me a few different questions. So Facebook is basically saying, okay, you want to set up custom audiences? Tell us who specifically you want to target. All right, so first thing is I've got the name of my pixel. Um, the second thing is I want to select people who are visiting specific pages. So the same way that Foot Locker does this, where if you go and you look at their website and you're looking at Nikes, I want to know exactly about that. I want to know if you go to footlocker.com/Nike, because then my guess is you're probably interested in Nikes. Same thing with your real estate business. If you go to my website and you're looking at homes for sale in La Jolla or in Del Mar and Coronado, Oceanside, Carlsbad, I want to know at what page on my website you're visiting. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in that specific website URL. So as I mentioned, every website link, every page on your website has a different URL or a different website link. So what I want you guys to do is you're going to do 180 days, which is basically, hey, Facebook, I want to track anyone who's coming to my site the last 6 months. Um, not a problem at all, Christina. Send me your email again in chat and I'll send it over here once we're done. All right. And then I'm going to name this custom audience. I want to know the name of this specific page on my website. So this could be, my website listwithchris.com, and then it's the neighborhood page for La Jolla. All right. So label it whatever you'd like there. Okay. Now, as I mentioned on the Foot Locker analogy, this is an example though. So on most real estate websites, and this is an example of a lofty website, you've got a buy page, you've got a sell page, you might have neighborhood pages, you might have an about section, you've got a home page. You want to know who those people are. If they're coming to your page and they're thinking of selling, the next ad you should show them shouldn't be about a down payment, right? It should be about, hey, thinking of selling in San Diego? Here's three things you need to know before listing your home. If it's a buy page, you want to know that exactly as well. So you can get, if you click on any of your pages on your website, you'll notice it changes that website URL. So this is an example of like this particular agent. He's got a neighborhood page in Bloomingdale. That's John Barnack there. Shout out to you, John, in Illinois, if you're listening. Any questions? All right. So, as I mentioned, you can create a bunch of different custom audiences. The next one we're going to set up is I want to know and I want to show an ad to anyone who's visited with me on my Facebook page or my Instagram account. I want to know who those people are and I want to show them specific ads. So, you could also set that up. All right. So, we're going to go back to business.facebook.com. I'm sending this over in chat as well so you guys have it. And you're going to look for that custom audiences again. All right, now we're going to create a custom audience for Instagram or Facebook. All right. And what I have the ability to do is obviously I'd have to select my business page. So name of my business is Chris Sack Interact. And then I want to know anyone who's engaged with me in the last year. So with Facebook and Instagram, you can actually show ads retroactively to people who have engaged with you on Facebook or Instagram in the last year. So you'll notice I've got a custom audience for anyone who's visited my Facebook page in the last year. I can show them specific ads. All right. So this is really cool. Couple questions coming through here in chat. So let me just answer these. Um, do you need to set up the custom audiences all the time or just once? Real good question. So you just have to set up these custom audiences once, and then it's kind of like you have that door chime installed on your site. Yep. So you just have to do this once. What I would encourage you to do is after you get off here today, set up all these custom audiences. It'll take you probably 10, 15 minutes, but then you never have to think about it again. Yep. Another question, is this different from instant forms on the ad? Yes, it is. So this is actually not a lead generation ad, Christina. This is going to be a traffic ad. I'm going to show you in just a second how to create that ad for traffic. Yep. But for retargeting, I would encourage you to do a traffic ad, not lead generation. Keep in mind, retargeting is you're talking to people who are already familiar with you. So a lot of times, Christina, when I'm running retargeting ads, I'm running it to a list of leads that have already registered. They already know, like, and trust you. So now what I'm doing is just trying to keep in front of them. Yeah. Hopefully that answered those questions, guys. Keep them coming in chat. All right, next up, one of my favorites is a customer list. So I have agents all the time, and they're like, Chris, I've been paying for online leads for years. Those are my favorite clients. Chris, I've got a database of 10,000 leads. What do I do? You can tell Facebook, hey, I want to upload this list of 1,000 people or 10,000 people, and I want you to just show an ad to them. Can we do that? So you can, and you can do that with what's called a customer list. So we do this a lot for a lot of our clients. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a custom audience, but now you're going to select customer list. Now, a couple examples of what I would do for customer lists. I'm running this right now for a client who's doing farming. So we just helped the client send out postcards. We created the postcards. We have a QR code going back to their site. But what we're also doing is we're showing a retargeting ad to that exact same list of homeowners. So he sent out 1,500 postcards. Those 1,500 people are now going to see a Facebook ad. So what I tend to do is send the postcards today, and then in 2, 3 days from now, that's when you start running the custom basically Facebook ad to just that farm of people. Another really, really good ad that I love doing is if you've got a bunch of leads in your CRM. So maybe you're listening to this and you're like, Chris, I have 10,000 leads in Lofty or Follow Up Boss or Bold Trail, whatever CRM you use. Show that ad to those specific leads that have already registered. It is so much cheaper to get a lead that you've already paid for back to your site than having to pay for new leads. I always have agents that are baffled when they get on a kind of initial call with me and they're like, Chris, I need to generate more business. Well, don't just focus on new leads, new leads, new leads, new leads. You might have a ton of leads you've already paid for, right? Leads that you paid for last year, you spent 5 grand on leads. Oh, those leads never closed. Those aren't dead leads. That's a great opportunity to keep in front of them. Um, and then the last one I'm a big fan of as well is all of your past clients. Most of our clients that we work with, 90, 95% of their business comes from their past clients in Sphere. What if you could film a video or create an ad and it's, hey, Chris, I just want to show this ad to this specific list of my past clients. Now you're very, very specific. Hey, this is Chris. It's great to see you again. I just personally want to invite you to, we're doing a pie giveaway. Hey, we're doing pictures with Santa. Hey, we're doing a movie in the park. Hey, I want to wish you a happy St. Patrick's Day. Make sure to check your mail. I just sent you a lottery ticket in the mail. You can then get really strategic with specific ads, showing that to your consumers. So the next time they get on their Facebook or Instagram, they're seeing your ad pop up in front of you. So I'm a big fan of that. Um, for those of you taking notes, these are all the different custom audiences I recommend you set up. So website, customer list for farming, your old website leads, your past clients. Um, and then you can also target, like you were asking, Christina, you could also target people who have filled out your Facebook lead form, or you can target people who have visited you on Facebook or Instagram as well in the last year. So hopefully that helps, guys. I know I'm covering a lot of different topics here, but I like to give you guys a lot of different ideas. As always, if you'd rather hire us to, Chris, can you just go set up all these custom audiences for us? Love to help. So I'm gonna pause there though. Any questions before I move on to, okay, Chris, that makes sense. Now, how do I create an ad and what should I do with an ad? All righty. So recap a little bit. We've got the pixel installed on your website. What is a pixel? Think of it as a door chime on your website. Someone walks to your website, ding, Chris is on my website right now. Custom audiences is basically different lists or different groups of people. You can have a lot of different custom audiences on your screen. These are some ones I recommend you do with Facebook ads. Now, kind of tying a bow around this, guys, what does that mean? That means we're going to want to show ads to the specific groups of people. Okay? So, what we're going to do is we're going to now create an ad. So, we're going to go business.facebook.com, or you're going to go to your ads.facebook.com, and you are going to create a new ad, and we're going to do it for traffic for retargeting. Always do traffic ads for doing retargeting. So, we're going to select that. And next up on the next screen, same way that we're going to choose our budget and, hey, who do we want to show this ad to? Now you're going to see this custom audiences section, and that's where you're going to find all of those custom audiences we just created. So Christina, if you set one up for your website, you're going to see, oh, I've got a custom audience. I can show this ad to people now. So this is where all your custom audiences are going to show up. You can run an ad targeting, two or three custom audiences at once. One thing with custom audiences you guys need to know, I would recommend no less than probably 500 people on that list. Otherwise, it's too small of a list for Facebook to really see value in running that ad. So your list size needs to be a list of 500 people or more. All right. And then once you do that, you are basically saying, Facebook, show this list to this farm. These are people most likely to sell in my market. Let's show them this ad. Or, hey, Chris, this is my list of 10,000 leads. Show this ad to just those 10,000 leads. Now, some good examples of good retargeting kind of ads itself. We run a lot of ads for just listed. So anytime you get a listing, you should be promoting it. Think about that from like your past clients. Anytime you get a new listing, they go on Facebook and Instagram and they're like, man, Chris has got another listing. He must be killing it right now. Next week, show an ad for open houses. Hey, click here to view all open houses this weekend in San Diego. You can also we do a lot of like very specific features. So this is for a client in Florida we have. They're in a retirement community and they focus also on golf course property. So all of their leads they generate, they know they're interested in this. Maybe you're in Texas though and you're into equestrian properties. Maybe you're here in San Diego and you're like, Chris, I want to focus on military relocation, or I want to target on some of our beach communities. Can we do that? So know your area, know what people are looking at. If there's no condos in your market, don't show an ad of click here to view all condos in this area. Know your market. What price point, what homes people are interested in. Are there a lot of new build communities? So know your area. And I'm just going to go through a couple just kind of an examples real quick, guys. Got a client here in San Diego who focuses on the kind of the vacation rental. They do some Airbnb. They're targeting investors. Another client in Spring Hill, Florida, kind of right outside of Tampa. He loves doing relocation ads. So he's showing this ad to people in New York City and New Jersey. And he's focusing on relocation. Here's a good example of a video ad. Anytime someone visits our client's site and they're thinking of selling, next time they go to Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, they're seeing this video. What's your home worth in La Jolla? Or if you're not from San Diego, what's your home worth in La Jolla? So you can do photos, you can do video. As a reminder, guys, we do all of this for our clients. We do the graphic design, we do the video editing. But it's important to understand what you can do with retargeting. The same way that, when you go to Foot Locker, they can target you and say, hey, I want to target anyone who's just looking for shoes. Or you can do what they call list-based retargeting. So, hey, I want to show this ad just to that specific list of people. For those of you taking notes again, just listed, just sold, open houses, houses by a specific feature in your area. So for me, it's ocean view homes. Ads by price point do really, really well. So if you have a, average price point of 350 in your market, click here to view all homes between 3 and 500,000. That's a really good ad. And then area features, as I mentioned as well. That might be new build, that might be equestrian property, that might be golf course property. So know your area, know your market. I'm just going to keep showing you guys some of these. So visually, hopefully you guys have some ideas coming in. Does anyone have an idea or want to share what type of a retargeting ad that they'd like to run after we've gone through some of this? Does anything come to mind for you guys? If not, I'm going to just keep moving on here. All right, you guys are easy today. Okay, so to recap, retargeting. What is retargeting? Someone goes, for example, they go on Amazon and they shop for those black pair of Nikes, and then all of a sudden those Nikes start following you around the internet. In its most basic form, that's what retargeting is. I want you to do that in your real estate. Okay? I
Chris,
want you to
question.
choose specific
Sorry,
audiences.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead. We
I'm
got a question
driving.
coming in?
That's why, yeah, I'm driving. That's why I can't chat. Um, so the ad that I was working for is waterfront properties in Connecticut. Can it be a retargeting? Like anyone who is looking at homes, so for example, in Connecticut, they could be retargeted to waterfront homes.
Yeah. So I could barely hear you there, Christina. So if you could you repeat that one more time for me? I'm sorry.
Sorry, can you hear me now? Better? No?
Much better, much better. Go ahead.
So the ad that I started running is waterfront homes in Connecticut. So question is, can it be a retargeting campaign saying everyone who is searching homes in Connecticut, they will be also showing the homes waterfront in Connecticut on my website?
Yeah, you could do that, but I think what you're more trying to do is you're trying to generate leads. Retargeting would be
I'm
more of
trying to generate leads, yes.
yeah. So I wouldn't do retargeting yet. I would first go after generating new business. So if I were you, I
Okay.
would do I would do a lead generation ad. Now in 60, 90 days from now, Christina, what I would do is then you want to run a retargeting ad because you're going to have a bunch of leads that are in your system and you haven't talked to them, they haven't converted, they haven't texted back or emailed back. Then that's
Uh-huh.
when you want to introduce retargeting. So then
Understood.
that's when you would want to keep in front of them and just kind of remind them, hey, just a reminder, you can shop for homes for sale. You can view all waterfront in my site. Yeah, so for you, it would probably be start with the lead generation first. Once you have that
Do
database.
you have do
Mhm.
you have a class for lead generation Facebook
Yep,
ads and not
yep,
retargeting?
yep, yeah. So we teach Facebook ads 101 and 201. So I'll send you the recording for the 101. But I go through how to do that from start to finish. So I'll email you both today, and then I'll also do the Facebook ads 101 for you as well. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions at all, guys? All righty. So let's get into some best practices here. You do not want to be that annoying realtor. Have you all probably seen someone on the internet where you're like, man, this business, not to pick on insurance agents, but I think insurance agents do a really bad job of this, where they just show you the same ad over and over, right? It's their glamour shot from 1996, and it's like a thumbs up, we have the best rates. And like that's the only ad you see for 6 months. So you do want to be strategic. You don't want to be that guy. So some best practices of kind of things to look out for once you do start doing some retargeting is you're going to want to pay attention to frequency score. That's a fancy way of saying, hey, put this into layman's terms for me. How frequently am I showing people the same ad? Okay. And so what that means is Facebook gives you something that's a frequency score. What I try and shoot for is showing people that ad between 4 and 8 times. That's the sweet spot. You don't want to show it more than that because then you can start to be a little annoying and the message can kind of get lost in translation. So, what I encourage you to do is actually show that ad to people between 4 and 8 times. So, frequency score, that's where you'll see that. Next up is you can pay attention to cost per click. Um, Cost per click is it's really powerful. So for anyone who's paid for lead generation, I have a client right now in Orange County, and he pays $1,200 for each Zillow lead, which is crazy. But obviously, he's making money off of them. Maybe you're doing Google ads and you're spending 20, $30 a lead. Or maybe you're doing Facebook ads and you're paying, $3 to $7 a lead. Um, Really important is, and this is a rhetorical question I always ask agents, are you closing 1,000 out of 1,000 leads? No, of course I'm not, Chris. Okay, so what is your conversion rate? Oh, I close 2 to 3%. Okay, so out of 100 leads, you're closing two of those. What if you could pay 20 or 30 cents to get that lead back to your website? Um, that's what retargeting can help. So retargeting is dirt cheap. Um, so what I would encourage you guys to do is pay attention to your cost per click. You can pay typically between about 20 and 50 cents to get that lead back to your website. So for my client who's paying $1,200 for a Zillow lead, I always joke with him and I say, hey, are you willing to pay 30 cents to get that Zillow lead back? He's like, Chris, all day, every day. So you'll notice on my screen, retargeting can be really affordable. Um, so you'll notice here for the amount spent, this client spent about $133 to get 456 leads back to his website. Those are leads that he called dead leads. Hey, Chris, these leads never respond. They never come back to the site. Well, you did retargeting and now they're coming back to the site. Now they're looking at listings again on the site. They've re-engaged with you. So really important to pay attention not only to frequency score, but also your cost per click. Couple other best practices I do encourage. Be specific with your retargeting and with the ad itself. And what I mean by that, don't just say San Diego homes for sale. Get specific, golf course properties, oceanfront properties, houses in specific areas. And then I say experiment with segmentation, which is a really big word. That's really what I mean is run an ad this week for open houses. Next week, run one for, price reduced. The following week, run one for a just listed ad that you have. And so really important to know and just kind of leverage those analytics that we just went over. So it's really important to know what you can do and how you can kind of leverage it. Now, as far as what to spend, how much do you spend and what to expect? So, Christina, this is really important for you. I would encourage you to start spending 80% of your budget on new leads and 20% of your budget on retargeting. So if you've got $1,000 a month budget, spend $800 on new leads, and spend about $200 a month on retargeting. Now, some of you listening to this, you might have 1,000 or 10,000 leads in your database. I might recommend that a little bit differently. I might recommend, hey, just start out with a $100 a month marketing budget for retargeting. Retargeting is so much cheaper and cost effective than it is generating new leads. So if there's only one thing you take from this today, please, I beg you, those leads that you have that are sitting in your CRM, do retargeting ads for those leads yesterday. I cannot emphasize how many agents that we take on as clients, and they're always baffled when I'm like, you need to spend less money, but you need to get those old leads back to the site. Let's start there. So if you're interested or I can help you with that, and you want me to go through kind of your advertising budget and goals, let me know, guys. I nerd out on this stuff, and I've been doing it, almost 20 years. So if there's anything we can do to take a look at your ads, schedule a free 15-minute consultation with me. The other thing is we post on social media a couple times a week. Real estate is all we do. We don't focus on any other industries. So follow us on social media. And then last thing, kind of shameless plug, we do a newsletter twice a month, and we give you different tips. We just sent an email last week about how to get more reviews as a real estate agent. So sign up for our newsletter if you enjoy kind of my style of teaching. If you do sign up for our newsletter, please check your email. You do need to confirm your email in order to get all of our updates. And then, as always, guys, feel free to go to my website or email me with any questions. As I mentioned, I teach two classes every month. So, Facebook Ads 101 and 201. So, pay attention to those. And if anyone wants the recording, feel free to shoot me an email, or if you want to send your email in chat. Christine, I already got your email. Thank you for sending it. I'll send over the replays for you guys. But I'll hang out for another minute or two, answer any questions. But otherwise, guys, thanks so much for attending, and I hope you guys found this helpful.